I have a question for you as well. Is screen share something that you use and wish to use? We talked about it over HDMI. Yes, I do wish that devices would just let you use screen share by HDMI, because most of the time you can just plug into an HDMI and go. A5X is still missing a lot of features. Yeah, we're going to talk about that just now, because one of the pieces of news is about the A5X updates. The way they care for their device is really lovely, isn't it? Just like my SuperNote so much as well. Yes, I know. Yeah, then that's it. I think if it does everything you need it to do, SuperNote is fantastic. It's such a delightful device to use. It just is. I use it. I'm currently using it as my daily at work at the minute. So it's my work notebook, and I love every moment. Every time I pull out the pen, I just enjoy writing on it really massively. Yeah, HDMI or USB-C to a portable monitor screen for sharing would be interesting. Absolutely. I think that they should just let people do that. I don't know why every device doesn't. They've all got OTG capability, so why not just let us do HDMI out as well? Who knows? Okay, so we're going to fire into the news next. Is screen share something that you wish to use? And both of these pieces of news have something in common, which is talking a little bit about screen share. This first bit, paper is temporarily sold out. And it says temporarily. If you have been using paper, has anyone got a paper? Pop in the chat if you've got a QuirkLogic paper. If you do, then you're likely to have received the same email as me, and we're really wondering now what is next for the QuirkLogic paper. Great device, really interesting ecosystem that it lived on. It was the Sony hardware. I'm trying to charge it back up again, but unfortunately been sat on the charger for some time. I think it might just need to do an absolutely full charge before it wakes back up again, but I haven't used it in a little while, and it has therefore died like this. But it was an excellent device. It's a real high watermark in terms of the pen feel. I like the fact that it's got a lovely rough screen, and it's got a couple of choices of nibs. It's a really good device, but unfortunately we just got an email recently. I'll read a little excerpt from this email. I think the question is, are we looking forward to a new platform, or is this actually just the QuirkLogic going out of business and decided to call it a day? Because it says the Inkworks service will no longer be available from the 1st of March. Paper will still work. You can still use Google Drive and Dropbox, but you won't be able to access cloud, workbooks, and the QuirkLogic portal. And that was the best thing about it, really, the portal, because what you could do in a web browser is you could show any document. You could show any document, and separately to the document, you could zoom around on the screen that you were showing it on, to go to a completely different place than you were looking at on this device, and people could remote in from all different devices. It was really good. I really enjoyed teaching with this device. I really did enjoy that. And unfortunately, it's the end of the cloud. I've read this email a couple of times. Nothing in this email that suggests exciting news is coming. It's not like we're closing Inkworks because we're replacing it with something better. It just seems like it's the end of the road for them. I know they've stopped doing the Quilla. It says temporarily sold out, but I think that might be just placeholder, really, because now if we've not got a platform, that's the heart of the device, really, is what was that platform, because it's Sony hardware anyway. They were talking about a Paper 2, and I was really excited about a Paper 2. I did email my contact at QuirkLogic to ask them for any comment. Not just to think they haven't got back to me. There's not like they've refused to comment or anything like that, but they haven't got back to me. So I think it might be the end of the road for the QuirkLogic paper, which is a real shame, because it was a very good device for teaching. One thing I loved about it, I used to sit like this at my desk at school, and I would have half of the device would be my notes, my lesson plan, basically the things I was going to talk through. And then this half would be what I was sharing on the screen. And I could zoom around. I could write, whilst the kids were still writing everything, I could be sketching out the next little part, or I could be working on a problem. I could zoom in and out here, zoom in and out on my laptop, which was being displayed on the big screen at the front of the classroom as well. So, fingers crossed that actually I'm reading that wrong. But I do not think they would put out any kind of email if there was exciting news without saying there was exciting news coming. So unfortunately, I think that might be the end of the road. So SuperNote have added screen sharing, because you're absolutely right. It was a good comment. You're absolutely right. SuperNote does need to catch up on some extra features, really. But SuperNote have added screen share, and it looks like it's going to be excellent, quite frankly. It looks like it's going to be really good. How it's going to work, I've just put a screenshot here from Brandon's video, which is really good. But how it's going to work is just going to be that from the top here, at any point, there'll be a box for screen share, and you'll be able to just share with any device which is on the same Wi-Fi network. So that's going to work really quite well, I think. So as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you will just go to, it will tell you what the URL that you need to go to is. It's just, a 192 dot, that type of URL. So I'd encourage you to go and check out Brandon's video. If you haven't already, definitely check out his channel as well and give him some thumbs ups and subs there as well. It's still in beta. It's not going to come immediately. Absolute no-brainer. It seems to run a sensible way. I do think so. The difference between the way that runs and the QuirkLogic runs is the QuirkLogic is updating a cloud document, and then you were looking at that same cloud document constantly being updated. Of course, you were looking at that from a different computer, whereas this is just sending it to a web page which isn't on the internet, just a HTML web page, and you were just accessing that within a browser. So it shows you everything on the screen, but it doesn't upload anything backwards and forwards all the time. So you can't run it from any computer. Whereas even with QuirkLogic, I could be presenting to you. You could have the QuirkLogic cloud open on your computer at home, and you could be looking at the same thing as me on my screen. And you could, if you're interested in part of the document, you could go off and work over here. You could add notes to it yourself as well. So, I think that it would be nice to see the option to be able to share for the whole internet rather than just on your local Wi-Fi. But it's great for a start because, well, I imagine what I will end up doing is probably put the device, when I want to screen share, I'll put this device on the hotspot on my phone. I'll put my computer on hotspot because it's at school and my phone isn't on the Wi-Fi network at school, and this isn't either. And I will put both things on the hotspot network, and then I will just go to that URL and share this on screen. It will work really, really well. I think that slight moment where I have to actually link up the hotspot and things like that, but that doesn't take that long.